The warning sirens screamed across Colony 7. Park Ji-woo stood in the command center, watching the monitors with shaking hands. 12 massive alien warships floated above the colony like dark clouds of death. Each ship was 5 times larger than anything humanity had ever built. The Vraxian Empire had finally come for them. "Governor, they're powering up their weapons," said one of the technicians. His voice trembled. "We have maybe 10 minutes before they start firing." Park Ji-woo closed his eyes. 50,000 people lived on Colony 7. Families, children, people who had traveled across the stars looking for a new home. Now they would all die because humanity had dared to spread beyond Earth. The communication screen flickered to life. A creature appeared that looked nothing like a human. Its skin was dark purple, covered in scales. 4 eyes glowed red in the darkness. When it spoke, its voice sounded like grinding metal. "Humans of Colony 7, the creature said. "I am High Lord Thravex of the Vraxian Empire. Your species has polluted this sector of space long enough. You will surrender immediately. Your people will become slaves. Your technology will be destroyed. If you refuse, we will burn your colony from orbit. You have 5 minutes to decide." The screen went black. Park Ji-woo looked at the faces around him. Terror. Despair. He had to try something, anything. "Send a message to Earth," he said quietly. "Tell them what's happening. Tell them goodbye." Across the colony, people held their children. They said prayers. They looked up at the sky and saw the alien ships blocking out the stars. This was how humanity would end, they thought. Not with a fight, but with surrender or death. 3,000 light-years away, Captain Kang Min-soo stood on the bridge of the USS Blackstar. The ship hummed with power around him. It was humanity's first real warship, built in secret over 5 years. Every system was new. Every weapon was experimental. The ship had never faced real combat. "Captain, we're receiving the emergency transmission from Colony 7, said Lieutenant Yoon Hana. She was young, barely 30, but her eyes were sharp and focused. "They have less than 5 minutes before the Vraxians start shooting." Kang Min-soo was 40 years old. He had served in Earth's Defense Force for 20 years, but he had never seen combat. No human had. Earth had avoided the great powers of the galaxy by being quiet and small. Now that was ending. "How long to reach Colony 7? He asked. "At maximum speed, 3 hours, said Navigator Ansora. "We'll be too late." Admiral Lee Sungmin appeared on the communication screen. He was an old man with gray hair and worried eyes. "Captain Kang, you are not authorized to engage. The Blackstar is too valuable. If we lose you, we lose our only advantage. Return to Earth immediately." Kang Min-soo looked at his crew. Engineer Choi Dae-ho watched from his station, waiting. Dr. Kim Tae-jin stood ready in the medical bay. Commander Bae Hyun-woo, his second-in-command, gave him a small nod. These people trusted him. 50,000 people at Colony 7 trusted someone to save them. "Admiral, with respect, I refuse," Kang Min-soo said. "We built this ship to protect humanity. Now humanity needs protection. I'm taking the Blackstar to Colony 7. "Captain, that's an order. You'll be—" Kang Min-soo cut the transmission. He turned to his crew. "Choi Dae-ho, give me everything the engines have. Ansora, plot a jump directly into the battle zone. Yoon Hana, power up all weapon systems." "Sir, if we jump that close, we'll appear right in the middle of their fleet," Ansora said. "That's the idea," Kang Min-soo replied. "They think we're weak. They think we're prey. Let's show them what happens when prey evolves teeth." The Blackstar's engines roared to life. The experimental jump drive built by Choi Dae-ho opened a tunnel through space itself. The ship vanished from Earth's orbit in a flash of blue light. At Colony 7, the timer reached 0. High Lord Thravex smiled with his horrible mouth. Humans refused to respond. "Begin the bombardment. Burn them all." The Vraxian weapons began to glow. Energy gathered in their massive cannons. The people of Colony 7 held each other tight. This was the end. Then space itself tore open. A shape emerged from the blue light. The USS Blackstar appeared between the Vraxian fleet and the colony. It was smaller than the alien ships, but it moved with deadly purpose. Its hull was black as night. Its weapons were already armed. High Lord Thravex stared at the human ship. "What is this, one ship? One pathetic human vessel?" He laughed, a sound like breaking bones. "They sent one ship to die for 50,000. How touching." Captain Kang Min-soo opened all communication channels. His voice broadcast to the Vraxian fleet, to Colony 7, to any ship within range. "This is Captain Kang Min-soo of the USS Blackstar. To the Vraxian fleet, you have 10 seconds to power down your weapons and leave this system. If you refuse, we will show you why humanity doesn't surrender. The Vraxian commanders laughed. Their ships outnumbered the Blackstar 12-1. Each of their ships was 5 times larger. They had fought and conquered 1,000 species. Humans were nothing, insects, less than insects, human fool, Thravex replied. You will die first. Then we will take our time with your colony. Watch, Blackstar. Watch as we— Time's up, Kang Minsu said. Yun Hana, fire everything. The Blackstar erupted with violence. Railguns fired metal slugs at incredible speeds. Each slug hit with the force of a nuclear bomb. The Vraxians had energy shields that stopped energy weapons easily. But the railguns fired solid metal, physical matter. The shields couldn't stop them. 3 Vraxian cruisers exploded in the first 10 seconds. Their shields collapsed. Their hulls tore apart. Fire bloomed in the darkness of space. Impossible, Thravex screamed. All ships focus fire on that vessel. Destroy it now! The Vraxian fleet turned their weapons toward the Blackstar. Hundreds of energy beams lanced through space. They struck the human ship's shields. Kang Minsu felt the impact shake the deck beneath his feet. Shields at 70%, reported Choi Daeho. But they're holding. The kinetic barriers are working. On Sora, evasive maneuvers. Don't let them hit the same spot twice, Kang Minsu ordered. Yun Hana, target their shield generators. Make every shot count. The Blackstar danced through space. Ansora was a brilliant pilot. She spun the ship through the enemy fire, moving in ways the heavy Vraxian ships couldn't follow. The Blackstar was smaller, faster, built for war instead of conquest. Yun Hana fired again and again. Railgun slugs tore through Vraxian shields. Laser arrays burned through armor. Nuclear-tipped missiles found weak points in enemy hulls. The weapons were primitive by galactic standards. But they worked. They killed 2 more Vraxian ships died. Then 3 more. The space around Colony 7 filled with debris and fire. High Lord Thravex watched his fleet die and felt something he had never known before. Fear. Retreat, he ordered. All ships jump to— No, Kang Minsu said coldly. Yun Hana, don't let them leave. If even one ship escapes, they'll tell their empire that they can attack humanity without consequences. Kill them all. The Blackstar accelerated. Its engines pushed beyond safe limits. It caught the fleeing Vraxian ships before they could jump away. One by one, the Blackstar hunted them down. One by one, they died. High Lord Thravex died last. His ship exploded in a ball of fire. His final transmission was a scream of rage and disbelief. When the battle ended, 12 Vraxian warships were destroyed. The USS Blackstar floated above Colony 7, damaged but victorious. On the colony below, 50,000 people looked up at the stars and cried. Not from fear anymore. From joy, from relief, from hope. Captain Kang Minsu sat in his command chair. His hands were steady now. His crew was exhausted but alive. He had disobeyed orders. He had taken an experimental ship into combat. He had risked everything, but humanity had won its first battle. And the galaxy would never see humans the same way again. 3 months passed since the Battle of Colony 7. The news spread across human space like wildfire. 1 ship, 12 enemies, total victory. Captain Kang Minsu became a hero overnight. But he knew the truth. The real war was just beginning. The Blackstar sat in orbit above Earth undergoing repairs. Choi Daeho worked day and night to fix the damage. The shields had held but barely. The hull showed scorch marks from Vraxian energy weapons. The railguns needed new barrels. Every system needed checking. Captain, you have a visitor, said Commander Bae Hyun-woo. He looked worried. Admiral Lee is coming aboard. Kang Minsu nodded. He had expected this. He had disobeyed direct orders. In any military, that meant punishment. Maybe prison. Maybe worse. But he would do it again. Those 50,000 people were alive because of his choice. Admiral Lee entered the bridge. He was an old man who had spent his life preparing for a war he hoped would never come. Now that war was here. He looked at Kang Minsu for a long moment. You disobeyed me, the Admiral said quietly. Yes, sir. You risked humanity's only advanced warship. Yes, sir. You could have lost everything. Yes, sir. Admiral Lee walked to the window. He looked down at Earth, the blue planet that held billions of human lives. The Vraxian Empire knows about us now. Their high command is furious. They're calling us a threat, a disease that needs to be removed. He turned back to Kang Minsu. You started something that won't end until one of us is destroyed. We didn't start this, Kang Minsu said. They came to our colony. They tried to enslave our people. We just defended ourselves. Defended? Admiral Lee almost smiled. You didn't just defend. You annihilated them. You made them look weak. Now they have to respond. Their pride demands it. He pulled out a datapad. Intelligence reports say they're gathering an armada. 300 warships. They're coming for Earth. The bridge went silent. 300 ships. The Blackstar had barely survived against 12. How could one ship stop 300? How long do we have? Asked Yoon Hana. 6 months, maybe less, Admiral Lee said. He looked at Kang Minsu again. We're building more ships. 5 more Blackstar-class vessels are under construction, but they won't be ready in time. So I need you to buy us time. How? Kang Minsu asked. Stop them before they reach Earth, attack their supply lines, destroy their shipyards, make them afraid to come here. Admiral Lee handed him the datapad. I'm giving you 2 more ships. The USS Indomitable and the USS Phoenix. Both are modified cargo vessels with new weapons. Not as good as the Blackstar, but they'll fight. Kang Minsu looked at the data. His mission was simple on paper. Stop an armada with 3 ships. It was suicide. But it was also humanity's only chance. I'll need a scientist, he said. Someone who understands Vraxian technology. I have someone, Admiral Lee replied. Dr. Ominji. She's been studying the wreckage from Colony 7. She's learned things about Vraxian shields, their computers, their weapons. Things we can use against them. 2 weeks later, the small human fleet left Earth orbit. 3 ships against an empire. Captain Kang Minsu commanded the Blackstar. Captain Yoon Hana took command of the Indomitable. Captain Shin Junho, a former Marine, commanded the Phoenix. Dr. Ominji worked in the Blackstar's research lab, surrounded by alien technology. Captain, I've installed something new, Ominji said. She was young, brilliant, and completely fearless. I've reverse-engineered their cloaking technology. It's not perfect, but it will hide us from their sensors for short periods. We can get close without them knowing. How close? Kang Minsu asked. Close enough to hurt them. The fleet jumped into Vraxian space. They moved carefully, staying away from major systems. Intelligence officer Nam Yoonji monitored enemy communications. She learned their language by listening to their transmissions. She learned their patterns, their weaknesses. Captain, I found something, Nam Yoonji said after 2 weeks of searching. Corvesh Prime. It's their main shipyard in this sector. They're building the armada there. 47 capital ships are under construction. If we destroy the shipyard, we set them back months. What are the defenses? Asked Commander Bae Hyunwoo. Heavy 30 warships guarding the system. Orbital defense platforms. Fighter squadrons. Nam Yoonji pulled up the data. It's a fortress. Kang Minsu studied the information. 30 ships. Defenses. And somewhere in that system, the future Vraxian armada was being built. If they destroyed those ships now, Earth gained precious time. But it would be the hardest fight yet. Dr. O, will the cloaking work? He asked, for about 10 minutes. After that, they'll adapt their sensors and find us. 10 minutes. Kang Minsu thought hard. Captain Shin, your Marines are ready for boarding action? Shin Junho was a hard man who had fought in Earth's early colonial conflicts. He nodded. Give me a target and we'll take it. Good. Here's the plan. The attack began at midnight Vraxian time. The 3 human ships approached Corvesh Prime under cloaking. They drifted through the defense perimeter like ghosts. The Vraxian sensors saw nothing. Their guards were lazy, confident that no one would dare attack. The Blackstar positioned itself near the largest battle carrier under construction. The Phoenix and Indomitable targeted the shipyard's power generators. They waited in silence, invisible, weapons armed. All ships, this is Kang Minsu, the captain broadcast. On my mark to cloak and fire. Give them everything. Make every shot count, mark. 3 human ships appeared from nowhere. The Vraxians had a moment of confusion. What were those signatures? Where did they come from? Then the human weapons spoke. Railguns hammered the shipyard. Explosions ripped through the construction docks. Half-built warships tore apart before they could ever fight. Laser arrays cut through defense platforms like burning knives through paper. Nuclear missiles found ammunition depots and fuel storage tanks. The shipyard became an inferno. Alarms screamed. Vraxian ships scrambled to respond. But the humans were faster, meaner, ready for blood. Shin Junho, you're up, Kang Minsu said. The Phoenix rammed its boarding tubes against the massive battle carrier. 60 human Marines, led by Shin Junho, poured into the alien ship. They carried plasma rifles built from captured Vraxian weapons. They carried grenades. They carried antimatter charges. The Vraxians inside weren't ready for a fight. They were shipbuilders, not warriors. The human Marines moved through the corridors like a killing storm. They fought with a fury the Vraxians had never seen. Every Marine knew what was at stake. Earth, home, family. Shin Junho reached the battle carrier's engineering section. He planted 8 antimatter charges on the main reactor. "Charges set," he reported. "All teams get out now." The Marines ran back to the Phoenix. Behind them, the charges counted down. The Phoenix detached and accelerated away. The battle carrier's reactor went critical. The explosion was like a newborn star. It consumed the battle carrier. It consumed 6 other ships under construction nearby. It consumed a third of the shipyard. The Vraxian defense fleet finally responded. 30 warships moved to engage the 3 human vessels. Energy weapons filled space with deadly light. The battle became chaos. "Shields at 50%, reported Choi Daeho. "We can't take much more." "We don't need to," Kang Min-soo said. "We did what we came for. All ships jump on my mark. 3, 2, 1, jump." The human fleet vanished, leaving behind a burning shipyard and 47 destroyed capital ships. The Vraxians screamed in rage. They sent emergency transmissions to High Command. The humans had struck at their heart. The insects had burned their nest. Back in human space, the 3 ships regrouped. They had damage. They had injuries. 3 Marines had died in the boarding action. But they had won. They had bought Earth precious time. Captain Kang Min-soo looked at his crew. They were exhausted, scared, but also proud. They had faced impossible odds and survived. They had hurt the enemy. "Dr. Oh," he said, "what did we learn from this battle?" Oh Minji smiled. It was not a kind smile. That they can be beaten. That they're not invincible. And that we're just getting started. Admiral Lee's face appeared on the communication screen. "Congratulations, Captain. Intelligence says you destroyed nearly 50 capital ships and crippled their main shipyard. The Vraxian armada is delayed by at least 4 months. That gives us time to finish our own ships." "What are our orders, sir?" Kang Min-soo asked. "Keep hunting. Keep hurting them. Make them afraid to leave their home systems. Show the galaxy that humanity doesn't just defend." "We strike back?" Kang Min-soo nodded. The Blackstar and its small fleet jumped into the darkness. Behind them, the Vraxian Empire raged. Ahead of them, more battles waited. But for the first time since the war began, humanity was not running. Humanity was hunting. The throne room of Emperor Zalvros was a place of dark beauty. Walls made of crystal showed the stars of 1,000 conquered worlds. The Emperor himself sat on a throne built from the bones of species that had defied him. He had ruled the Vraxian Empire for 300 years. Nothing had ever challenged his power. Until now. "Explain to me," the Emperor said slowly, "how 3 human ships destroyed 50 of our vessels. Explain how they penetrated Corvesh Prime, our most secure facility. Explain how these insects made us look weak." The Admiral stood before him in terror. They had no good answers. The humans had moved too fast. Their weapons were too effective. Their tactics were too unpredictable. Everything the Vraxians knew about warfare said the humans should have lost. But they kept winning. "The human ship called Blackstar is their key," said Admiral Vexthor. He was the oldest and wisest of the military commanders. "It has technology we don't understand. Weapons that bypass our shields. Engines that defy our understanding of physics. If we destroy that ship, we break their spirit." "Then destroy it," Emperor Zalvros said. His voice was cold as ice. "I want that ship's captain brought to me in chains. I want Earth turned to glass. I want humanity erased from history. Assemble the Grand Armada. I don't care what it costs. I want 300 warships ready to move on Earth within 4 months." The admirals bowed and left. The Emperor sat alone on his throne, staring at the stars. In 3,000 years, no species had ever made him feel this emotion. Fear. He crushed it down deep inside. The Vraxian Empire would not fall to primitives. It could not. On Earth, the shipyards worked day and night. 5 new Blackstar-class warships were taking shape. The USS Defiant, the USS Relentless, the USS Thunder, the USS Storm, the USS Vengeance. Each one carried the lessons learned from the first Blackstar. Better shields, stronger weapons, faster engines. Captain Kang Min-soo stood in the command center watching the construction. He had been promoted to Fleet Admiral. He didn't want the rank. He just wanted to protect his people. But the war was growing. It needed leaders. It needed symbols. He had become both. "Admiral, we have a problem," said Intelligence Officer Nam Yoonji. She looked tired. She had been monitoring Vraxian communications for months with little sleep. "The Empire is moving faster than we thought. They've redirected resources from other sectors. The Grand Armada will be ready in 3 months, not 4. And it's not 300 ships anymore. It's 400 warships. Earth would have 8 Blackstar-class vessels by then." The math was simple and terrible. They would lose. "We need allies," said Commander Bae Hyunwoo. "We can't fight the entire Empire alone." "What allies?" asked Captain Yoon Hana. She had proven herself in battle and earned her own command. "We're new to the galaxy. We don't know anyone. The other species are terrified of the Vraxians. They won't help us, maybe they will," said a new voice. Ambassador Ryujina entered the room. She was a diplomat who had spent the last month traveling to worlds on the edge of Vraxian space. She looked excited. "I've made contact with 4 species that hate the Empire. The Thandrosians, the Kelvar, the Mothri, the Zentari. All of them have been enslaved or conquered. They want freedom, but they're too afraid to fight alone." "And if we give them hope?" Kang Min-soo asked. "Then they'll fight with us. They have ships. Not as advanced as ours, but they have numbers. And they know Vraxian tactics from the inside." Ryujina showed them the data. "Together, we could field 200 ships. Still outnumbered, but not hopeless." "Set up a meeting," Kang Min-soo ordered. "We need to move fast." 2 weeks later, a secret meeting happened in neutral space. Representatives from 4 enslaved species met with human diplomats. They were all different. The Thandrosians were insect-like, with 6 legs and compound eyes. The Kelvar were tall and thin, like living shadows. The Mothri were covered in fur and spoke in musical tones. The Zentari were aquatic beings who needed water tanks to survive. But they all had one thing in common. They hated the Vraxian Empire. "Why should we trust you?" asked the Thandrosian leader. "You humans are new. You have only a few ships. The Empire will crush you, then come for us. We will die for nothing." "You're already dying," Ambassador Ryujina said. "The Empire takes your young to fight their wars. They steal your resources. They destroy your cultures. You die slowly, one piece at a time. We're offering you a chance to die fighting, to die free, and maybe, just maybe, to live." The alien leaders looked at each other. Fear and hope warred in their faces. Hope was a dangerous thing. It made you believe in impossible dreams. "Show us," said the Kelvar representative. "Show us you can hurt them. Show us you're worth following." Admiral Kang Min-soo stepped forward. "There's a Vraxian supply base at Thandros. It's where they store the weapons used to keep your people enslaved. Give me 3 days. I'll show you what humanity can do." The Blackstar, Indomitable, and Phoenix jumped to Thandros. The Vraxian supply base orbited the 4th planet. 80 Vraxian warships guarded the system. It was a trap. The Vraxians knew the humans would come eventually. They were ready. 80 ships, said Commander Bae Hyunwoo. "We can't win this." "We don't need to win," Kang Min-soo replied. "We need to survive and hurt them badly. That's enough." He opened communications to the fleet. "All ships, this is Admiral Kang. We're outnumbered 30 to 1. The enemy expects us to run, so we're going to do something crazy instead. We're going to charge right through them." "Through them?" Yoon Hana sounded shocked. "That's suicide. Only if we fight fair. Dr. O, are those new plasma weapons ready?" Dr. O Minji had been working on a new weapon system. She had studied Vraxian shield technology and found a weakness. Plasma at certain frequencies could pass right through their shields. She had built cannons that exploited that weakness. They had never been tested in real combat. "They're ready," O Minji said. "But Admiral, if they overload, they could destroy our own ships." "Then we don't let them overload. Fire them in short bursts. Make every shot count." Kang Min-soo looked at his crew. These people trusted him with their lives. He had to be worthy of that trust. "Choi Daeho, give me everything the engines have. We're going to break through their line." The 3 human ships accelerated to maximum speed. They charged directly at the Vraxian fleet. The aliens couldn't believe it. 3 ships attacking 80? It was madness. They opened fire with everything they had. Space lit up with weapons fire. Energy beams streaked through the darkness. Missiles tracked the human ships. The Vraxians poured enough firepower to destroy a planet, but the human ships didn't dodge. They didn't weave. They charged straight ahead, shields at maximum. The Blackstar took hit after hit. The shields glowed white-hot. They cracked. They strained. But they held 50 kilometers, reported Navigator Ansora. 40-30 now, Kang Minsu ordered. Fire the plasma weapons! The new cannons erupted. Blue-white plasma shot through space. It passed through the Vraxian shields like they weren't there. It struck hulls directly. Metal melted. Armor vaporized. Ships died. 10 Vraxian vessels exploded in the first salvo. Then 15 more. The human ships cut through the Vraxian line like burning swords. They didn't stop to fight. They kept moving, kept shooting, kept killing. Target the supply base, Kang Minsu ordered. The Blackstar fired every weapon it had. Railguns, missiles, lasers, the new plasma cannons. The Vraxian supply base had shields, but they couldn't stop everything. The base cracked open like an egg. Stored ammunition exploded. Fuel tanks erupted. The explosion could be seen from the planet below. All ships jump now, Kang Minsu commanded. The 3 human ships vanished into hyperspace. Behind them, the Vraxian fleet scrambled in confusion. They had lost 30 ships. Their supply base was destroyed, and the humans had escaped. Again. Back in neutral space, the alien representatives watched the battle recordings. They saw 3 human ships face 80 Vraxians. They saw the charge, the plasma weapons, the destruction, the escape. The Thandrosian leader stood up. We will fight with you, the Kelva representative nodded. We will fight. We will fight, said the Mothri and Zentari together. Ambassador Ryujina smiled. Then we have an alliance. Together we face the Empire. Together we win or die free. Admiral Kang Minsu knew this was just the beginning. The Grand Armada was still coming. 400 Vraxian warships would arrive at Earth in 2 months. But now humanity wasn't alone. They had allies. They had hope. The war was far from over. But for the first time, victory seemed possible. Just barely possible, but that was enough. 6 months into the war, everything had changed. Earth's shipyards had completed 12 Blackstar-class warships. The alliance with 4 alien species brought 90 more vessels to the fleet. Admiral Kang Minsu commanded 102 ships total. It was the largest human military force in history, but the Vraxian Grand Armada had 400 warships. The math still favored the Empire, but the math didn't account for human determination. It didn't account for rage. It didn't account for species that had waited centuries for a chance to strike back. The fleet gathered in orbit above Earth. Admiral Kang Minsu stood on the bridge of his flagship, the USS Blackstar. Around him, his crew worked with quiet efficiency. They had fought together for months now. They knew each other. They trusted each other. That trust was worth more than any weapon. Admiral, all ships report ready, said Commander Bae Hyunwoo. The fleet is awaiting your orders. Kang Minsu looked at the tactical display. 102 ships, crews from 5 different species. Some had been enemies a year ago. Now they would fight and die together. He opened fleet communications. This is Admiral Kang Minsu to all ships. 6 months ago, the Vraxian Empire attacked Colony 7. They thought we would surrender. They thought we were weak. They were wrong. We have fought them across the galaxy. We have destroyed their shipyards. We have freed their slaves. We have shown them that humanity bows to no one. He paused, letting his words sink in. Today, the Vraxian Grand Armada comes for Earth. They want to burn our home. They want to destroy everything we've built. They want to erase us from history. But we stand between them and our world. We stand with our allies. We stand together. And together we will show them that empires built on fear and slavery will always fall. All ships jump to intercept coordinates. Let's go hunting. The fleet vanished in a flash of light. They reappeared at the edge of Earth's solar system. The Vraxian Grand Armada was already there. 400 warships stretched across space like a wall of death. Each ship was massive. Each carried enough weapons to destroy cities. Warlord Krevthar commanded the Vraxian fleet. He was old for a Vraxian, scarred from 100 battles. He had conquered 20 species. He had never known defeat, but lately he felt something strange. Doubt. The humans had done the impossible too many times. Their weapons were too effective. Their tactics were too clever. Their determination was too strong. The human fleet has arrived, reported his sensor officer. 102 ships. Multiple species. They brought allies. Krevthar studied the tactical display. The humans should run. They should try to evacuate Earth. Instead, they formed a battle line between the Armada and the planet. They were going to fight. Fools, brave fools, but still fools. All ships prepare to engage, Krevthar ordered. Target their flagship first. Kill their admiral, break their spirit. Then we burn their world. The two fleets charged at each other. The space between them filled with weapons fire. Energy beams, missiles, railgun slugs traveling at incredible speeds. It was beautiful and terrible. It was war at its purest. The first ships to die were Thandrosian cruisers. They weren't as tough as human vessels. Vraxian fire tore through their shields and hulls. 10 Thandrosian ships exploded in the first minute of combat. But the Thandrosians didn't break. They kept fighting. They kept shooting. They had waited so long for this chance. Enemy fighters incoming, reported Lieutenant Yoon Hana from the USS Indomitable. Thousands of them. The Vraxian fighter craft swarmed toward the Allied fleet like angry insects. But Dr. Ominji had prepared for this. Every human ship carried point defense systems that used artificial intelligence to track and destroy incoming targets. Automated guns swiveled and fired with perfect accuracy. The Vraxian fighters died by the hundreds. "Admiral, their flagship is targeting us," said Choi Daeho. "We're reading a massive energy buildup." "All power to forward shields," Kang Minsu ordered. "Let's see how much they can take." The Vraxian flagship fired its main weapon. A beam of pure energy, bright as a sun, struck the Blackstar. The shields flared. Warning alarms screamed. The ship shook like it was caught in an earthquake. But the shields held, just barely. "Return fire," Kang Minsu said calmly. "Plasma cannons, full power. Target their bridge." The Blackstar's new weapons fired. Blue plasma shot across space. It passed through the Vraxian flagship's shields. It struck the bridge section. Metal melted. Atmosphere vented into space. The Vraxian flagship went dark. Its command center destroyed. Warlord Krevthar watched from his command ship as his flagship died. The humans had destroyed it with one shot. One shot, his doubt grew stronger. Maybe the Empire was wrong. Maybe these humans were not prey. Maybe they were the hunters. The battle raged for hours. Ships on both sides died. The Kelvar lost 20 vessels. The Muthri lost 15. The Zentari lost 12. Humanity lost 4 precious Blackstar-class ships. Thousands died every minute. But the Vraxians lost more. Their ships were bigger but not better. Their weapons were powerful but not precise. Their tactics were standard, predictable. The Allied fleet moved like a living thing. Ships supporting each other, covering weaknesses, exploiting openings. Captain Shin Junho led Marine boarding teams onto crippled Vraxian vessels. His soldiers fought with fury through alien corridors. They planted charges. They destroyed reactors. They left nothing but wreckage behind. "Admiral, we're detecting energy signatures from inside Vraxian space," reported Nam Yunji. "It looks like ships jumping in. Lots of ships." Kang Minsu felt his heart sink. Reinforcements. The Vraxians had brought more ships. This was it, the moment they would lose. He prepared to give the order to retreat, to save what they could, to live and fight another day. Then he saw what was actually arriving. They weren't Vraxian ships. They were vessels from species he didn't recognize. Dozens of them. Hundreds of them. All broadcasting the same message. "This is the Free Coalition. We come to aid humanity and all who fight against the Empire. We will fight with you." More enslaved species had heard about the battle. They had seen humanity and its allies stand against the impossible. They had found courage. They had rebelled. Now they came to help. The Vraxian fleet suddenly faced not 400 ships but 500. Then 600. Then 700. Species from across the Empire, tired of slavery, tired of fear, all converging on one battle. The battle that would decide everything. Warlord Krevthar knew he had lost. The doubt became certainty. The Empire was collapsing. 3,000 years of conquest ending because they had underestimated one species, because they had attacked humans and learned too late that humans didn't surrender. Humans fought back. "All ships retreat," he ordered. "Jump to—" "No," came a new voice on the communications. Emperor Zalvros himself appeared on every screen. "Warlord, you will stand and fight. You will win or die. There is no retreat. The Empire does not run from insects. Your empire is dead," Krevthar said quietly. "You just don't know it yet. I will not die for your pride." He turned to his crew. "Plot a jump to human coordinates. Open a channel to their admiral." Moments later, Krevthar's face appeared on the Blackstar's main screen. Admiral Kang Minsu. I am Warlord Krevthar. I wish to discuss terms. Surrender? Kang Minsu asked. Defection. I bring 50 ships and full intelligence on the Empire's home defense. The locations of shipyards, defense platforms, the Emperor's palace, everything. In exchange, I ask for asylum and a chance to rebuild my life away from madness. Kang Minsu looked at his officers. They were shocked. A Vraxian warlord defecting? It could be a trap, but it could also be the key to winning the war. If you betray us, I will hunt you across the galaxy, Kang Minsu said. I expect nothing less, Krevthar replied. 50 Vraxian warships changed sides. The remaining Vraxian fleet broke apart. Some ships fled. Some fought to the death. Some also defected. The Grand Armada that was supposed to destroy Earth died above the world it meant to conquer. Admiral Kang Minsu watched the enemy fleet scatter and knew the war had reached a turning point. The Empire could no longer hold its territory. Worlds were rebelling. Fleets were defecting. The giant was falling. But there was still one more battle to fight. One final target, the Vraxian homeworld, Vraxia Prime, the heart of the Empire. That was where the war would end. Commander Bay, send a message to all allied ships, Kang Minsu ordered. Tell them to repair and resupply. In 1 month, we march on Vraxia Prime. We're going to end this war. Around him, his crew cheered. They had survived the impossible. They had defeated the Grand Armada. Now they would finish what Colony 7 had started. They would free the galaxy. The Allied fleet gathered at the edge of Vraxian space. 200 warships from a dozen species. Ships that had been enemies now fought together. Ships that carried enslaved people now carried free soldiers. Everything had changed in 1 year. 1 year since the Blackstar appeared at Colony 7. 1 year since humanity said no to an empire. Admiral Kang Minsu looked older now. The war had aged him. He had seen thousands die. He had ordered people into battles they might not survive. But he had never stopped fighting. Never stopped believing. Now the final battle was coming. Intel reports from Warlord Krevthar confirm the defenses, said Commander Bae Hyunwoo. Vraxia Prime has 400 warships in orbit. Defense platforms on every moon. Planetary shields that can withstand nuclear strikes. And the Imperial Citadel. The Citadel. A battle station the size of a small moon. It orbited Vraxia Prime like a guardian god. Its main weapon could destroy planets. One shot could turn Earth to dust. The Vraxians had built it over 1,000 years. It had never been tested in combat. It had never needed to be. Nothing had ever threatened the homeworld until now. We can't win this, said Captain Yoon Hana. She commanded the USS Indomitable now. She had proven herself in battle after battle. Even with 200 ships, the math is against us. They have position. They have defenses. They have that citadel. We attack, we die. Probably, Kang Minsu agreed. But we attack anyway. Because if we don't, the Empire rebuilds. They come back stronger. They hunt down every species that rebelled. They make examples of us. Our children will be slaves or dead. So we end this now, no matter the cost. He looked around the command center. His crew was tired, scared, but still ready to fight. That was the human way. That was the way of all free people. You fought impossible battles because the alternative was unthinkable. Choi Daeho, I need you to tell me true, Kang Minsu said to his chief engineer. Can the Blackstar take a direct hit from the Citadel's main weapon? Choi Daeho was quiet for a moment. He had maintained the ship through dozens of battles. He knew every system, every weakness. No, sir. Not at full power. Nothing can survive that weapon. But I've been working on something. Something crazy. Crazy is what we do best, Kang Minsu said. The quantum disruptor. I've been building it in secret. It uses the same technology as our jump drives, but weaponized. It tears a hole in space itself. The energy release would be enormous. But there's a catch. The ship has to be right next to the target, and the ship firing it will be destroyed. The bridge went silent. A weapon that killed its user. A suicide weapon, but also a weapon that could destroy the Citadel. How close? Kang Minsu asked. Ramming distance. Then we ram them. Kang Minsu said it like he was discussing the weather. Calm. Simple. Like sacrificing his ship and crew was just another tactical decision. Install the weapon. Keep it secret. When the time comes, we'll use it. Dr. Oh Minji entered the command center. She looked excited despite the grim mood. Admiral, I've made a breakthrough. The Citadel's main weapon needs 30 seconds to charge. If we can overload their power grid for even 10 seconds, we can prevent them from firing. I've designed an electronic warfare package that might work. Might? Asked Commander Bay. I've never tested it against anything this big, but it's our best shot. Minji pulled up schematics. We need to get ships close to their power relays here, here, and here. Upload the virus. Cross our fingers. That's not exactly a solid plan, Yunhana said. No, Kang Minsu agreed. But it's the plan we have. Sometimes that's enough. The fleet prepared for 3 days. They checked weapons. They repaired damage. They said goodbyes to loved ones back home. They made peace with the fact that many of them would not see tomorrow. Ambassador Ryujina visited the Blackstar before the battle. She had negotiated the alliance. She had brought species together. Now she came to say farewell to the man who had made it all possible. You don't have to lead the charge, she said to Kang Minsu. You could command from the rear. Let someone else take the risk. No, he replied. These people follow me because I fight beside them. I don't ask them to do anything I won't do myself. The Blackstar will lead. That's how it's always been. Then make it count, Ryujina said. Make sure the galaxy remembers that humanity fought for something more than survival. We fought for freedom, for all species, for a better tomorrow. The day of the final battle arrived. The Allied fleet jumped to Vraxia Prime. They emerged from hyperspace to find the Vraxian defense fleet waiting. 400 warships in perfect formation, the Imperial Citadel looming above them all, dark and terrible. Emperor Zalvros broadcast across all channels. His voice was filled with rage. You dare come here? To the heart of the Empire? You insects think you can touch the sun? I will burn you all. I will hunt your families. I will erase every memory of your pathetic species. You have made your last mistake, Admiral Kang Minsu replied. His voice was calm, strong, human. You're wrong about one thing, Emperor. We're not insects. We're not prey. We're the species that looked at your empire and decided it had to end. Today we keep that promise. All ships attack. The two fleets collided. It was the largest space battle in galactic history. Energy weapons turned space bright as day. Missiles streaked through the darkness. Ships exploded by the dozens. The dead numbered in the thousands, then tens of thousands. The Allied fleet fought with desperate fury. Thandrosian ships rammed Vraxian cruisers. Kelvar fighters swarmed defense platforms. Mothri bombers attacked the Citadel's weapons. Centauri cruisers provided covering fire. And the human ships pushed forward, always forward, driving toward the heart of the enemy fleet. 3 ships in position near the power relays, reported Ominji. Uploading the virus now. The electronic warfare package hit the Vraxian power grid. For 10 seconds it worked perfectly. The Citadel systems flickered. The charging weapon powered down. Then Vraxian technicians found the virus and purged it. The weapon began charging again. 30 seconds until the Citadel can fire, said Navigator An Sora. Her voice was steady despite the fear they all felt. Target? Asked Kang Minsu. Us, sir. They're targeting the Blackstar. Of course they were. The flagship. The legend. The ship that started it all. Emperor Zalvros wanted Kang Minsu dead more than anything. All ships focus fire on the Citadel, Kang Minsu ordered. Give us cover. Choideho arm the quantum disruptor. Ansora plot a ramming course. Sir, if we do this, Commander Bay started. I know, Kang Minsu interrupted. Get to the escape pods. All non-essential crew evacuate now. That's an order. We're not leaving you, said Lieutenant Yunhana over communications from the Indomitable. Yes, you are, Kang Minsu replied. Someone needs to survive to tell the story. Someone needs to lead after I'm gone. That's you, Yunhana. You're next in command. You'll finish this. The Blackstar's crew refused to leave. They had fought together too long. They would die together if that's what it took. They stayed at their stations. They did their jobs. They prepared for the end. The Citadel's main weapon charged to full power. Energy built up like a captured star. It would fire in seconds. The beam would erase the Blackstar from existence. Engines to maximum, Kang Minsu ordered. Ramming speed. For Earth, for humanity, for everyone who ever stood against tyranny. The Blackstar accelerated. It drove through the Vraxian fleet like a spear. Enemy ships fired everything they had. The shields collapsed. The hull took direct hits. Fire burned through sections of the ship. People died at their stations. But the ship kept moving. The Citadel fired. The planet killer weapon hit the Blackstar. Half the ship simply vaporized. The medical bay, the crew quarters. Hundreds of people gone in an instant. The ship should have died, but somehow it kept going, kept accelerating, kept driving forward on pure momentum and human stubbornness. Quantum disruptor armed, Choi Daeho reported. He was injured, burned, but still at his station. Impact in 5 seconds. It's been an honor, Kang Min-soo said to his crew. Tell them we fought well. The Blackstar collided with the Imperial Citadel. In that moment, Choi Daeho fired the quantum disruptor. Space itself tore open. Energy from another dimension poured through the gap. The explosion was beyond anything imaginable. It consumed the Citadel. It consumed the Blackstar. It consumed everything within 1,000 kilometers. When the light faded, the Imperial Citadel was gone. The Blackstar was gone, and Admiral Kang Min-soo was gone. Captain Yoon Hana watched from the Indomitable. Tears ran down her face. But she didn't have time to grieve. She had a battle to win. All ships, this is Captain Yoon Hana. I am assuming command. Admiral Kang gave his life to destroy the Citadel. We will not waste his sacrifice. All ships press the attack. And this now. The Allied fleet surged forward with renewed fury. The Vraxian fleet, shocked by the Citadel's destruction, broke apart. Some ships fled. Some surrendered. Some fought to the last. But they had lost. They all knew it. Emperor Zalvros tried to escape in his personal ship. But Warlord Krevthar intercepted him. Your reign is over, Emperor. Face justice, the war ended that day. The Vraxian Empire surrendered. Enslaved worlds declared independence. The galaxy began to heal. 1 year later, a memorial floated in orbit above Earth. It was made of metal from the Blackstar's wreckage. Names were carved into it. 843 names.